First up, we have Bob, played by.
That's Kyle. Bob is a tiefling warlock.
Excellent. Next up, we have the Fixer-Upper, played by.
Ryanaga. And the Fixer-Upper is a half-orc war priest. I'm also playing Snake, who is a Yuan-Ti sorcerer following the Draconic path.
Excellent. We have Melrath, played by.
Starmy827, and Melrath is a Dwarven Eldritch Knight.
Excellent. We have Tristan, played by.
Will, and Tristan is a kobold wizard.
Good, good. And last but not least, we have Tazarath, played by.
Cyrilline, also known as, and Tazarath is a evil paladin.
Excellent. When last we played, the party had, I believe, just defeated the enemies. I'm going to draw a little square pointer. Where is it? Pointers. That were kind of in, this vicinity and resulted in this 10-foot explosion. Oh, no, that's too far back. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, because I'm mostly trying to remember where you left out. You guys had bombed the wedding party in the vicinity that the characters are now occupying. Is that about right?
They're all dead, yes.
Good, but Chris specifically, what is the last thing you remember? Because I'm trying to catch you specifically up.
Okay, there was a wedding procession going on, and we fireballed and destroyed the heck out of them. And then we moved up towards the giant mushroom, but weren't able to proceed much further because we ran out of time.
That's where we left off.
I thought there was another session after that.
No, when you guys weren't, when you and Will were not able to make it, we didn't play.
No, we had another session after that, Alex, where we absolutely destroyed the wedding party, realized that there was a demon lord inside the mushroom, and then we're in the process of running the fuck away. We're heading off to Druselford or something?
Langdonstone.
So you don't remember the demon lord, Chris, right?
No, I was not there for the demon.
Okay.
Established.
Yeah, then I'm gonna catch us up on that. So having destroyed the wedding party, down in the pit area where you can see the giant mushroom, there were a number of fungoid-infested revelers, and they're mostly comprised of hook horrors that have been infected, drow who had also been infected, and there was also the sovereign, that Myconid sovereign, that had been infected. And so the party spent a bunch of time trying to clean up those enemies. And in so doing, they managed to clear all of them out. And then, as I remember it, Tristan sent Bat to investigate. And they saw that the Demon Queen was already inside the stalk of the giant fungi. Considering that she is a demon lord and is in control of half of an entire layer of the abyss, it was decided that it was too tough of a fight and everybody is departing and try to get the hell out of here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the party actually leveled last time, which that's a good... Yeah, you're the only person who hadn't leveled, so sorry about that. But I already gave you long rest, so go ahead and start doing that. And then what specifically happened was, as you guys were on your way out, you did stop by and let the Myconids know that you that the Demon Queen was inside of that fungal stalk. So the ones that weren't infected were willing to leave the Vale. And so everybody has sort of fled. The Myconids have spread out and gone off in a whole bunch of different directions. You guys had ran as hard and fast as you could for a good long distance. And you came to an area where there was some sort of stone structure at one point. And it had like a roof and 4 walls and a door. The roof has had partially collapsed in on the structure. The walls are in various states of disrepair, but it was big enough to house the entire party. And so that's how it ended up happening. Now, you had also noted under, saw in the notes, dead NPCs. Spider Bait had died to a hook horror fungoid beast. As I remember, it just kind of slapped him in the face and he was done for. So that is, somebody else died to a hook horror, I think. Might be remembering the other game. No,
That
no,
was,
Yuck Yuck. His buddy. Yeah, hook horrors are not good for goblins. So, anyways, you guys had gotten a long rest, and so that's where we're going to be starting out from here. Now, at this point, you know that the general direction of Blingtonstone, the Myconids were able to tell you approximately where it was before you went up and investigated the Garden of Welcome. So you have a pretty good idea of the direction that you're headed. Okay? So at this point, unless you guys have anything else you want to do, I'm going to have the party just head off to the north and we'll go from there. Although, did we talk about the magical items that you guys found? I think I identified them in each person's party. Is that accurate?
I don't remember them.
Neither
Okay.
do I,
Uh,
but I wasn't here.
Okay, I'm going to start naming the items because you did pick them up. Somebody in their inventory should have a +2 Drow Craft short sword. That should be the title of it.
I got it.
Yeah, now I remember them.
A +2 Drow Craft studded leather.
Yeah, that is mine.
Someone, and I believe it's Will, has a bag of holding.
Yep.
Okay. And then there's also a spell scroll of remove curse and a spell scroll of spider climb. And if I'm not mistaken, spider climb went to Will, who put it into his spell book. Now, I don't think removes curse is a. Oh, it is a wizard spell.
Actually.
It is. So that can also be transcribed if you want to.
Works for me.
And you can just put those in right now. And does it need to be kept track of that you got it from a spell scroll? No, I don't think so. The only reason I was thinking about it was like, every time you level, you get the ability to sort of like trade out a spell that you have for a spell you don't.
Mhm.
And I was thinking for most classes, it's like, oh, well, that's because the spell that you the spell that you didn't have, or sorry, the spell that you had before was one that was added by your level. But I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be able to trade out a spell that you got from a scroll.
I don't think actually wizards can trade out their spells, so I think it's a nonce.
Oh, okay. Then that's fine. But anyways, as for that studded leather and the short sword, I don't believe those things were distributed. I think we ran out of time. So if you guys want to do that like right now and just have a quick discussion about it and trade them about, you can do that.
I'm fairly good on magic items at the moment, so
Well, I think the important thing to remember was, and we discussed this, was that the short sword is a martial weapon, so it came down to someone that had that proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of us don't have that.
So I think it's just you and I, Chris, and I already have a better sword.
Actually,
do too,
the cleric has proficiency in it because war gives you a bonus proficiency with martial weapons.
Right, that's true.
You currently have a warhammer of +1, so you could be a good choice for that. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
it would be a different type of damage, right?
Slashing, yes.
Yeah,
And
okay.
you could also just amend it to the list of options.
Hmm.
But that's one thing. Now, as for the studded leather armor, did we determine where that's going?
Well, that's in my inventory already.
Yeah, yeah, and it's equipped, I see. Oh, and there was studded leather armor from before. Okay, so we're all set on that. So everything's been distributed. We're all set. So as you guys start heading in the general direction of north, because these tunnels wind in on themselves at times, and you just kind of have to follow them. But as you continue heading north, you come to a point where you've been traveling for, I don't know, a good 4 hours, and the ground below you starts to become very fractured. It's solid. There's no threat of it giving out underneath you, but there's lots of cracks crisscrossing everything. Some of the top layer of rock that you're walking along seems to be shale, so there's like these big hunks of shale that are kind of loose and sliding around a little bit as you walk on top of them. And you continue on for another 3 hours, and then you find that the fragments all kind of grow bigger, grow more numerous, and suddenly you come out of a tunnel around a corner and see a huge cliff over a high cliff over a huge drop. And the only way that you can go forward from here, because you can't even see the other side, is if you look around a bit. There is an 18-inch ledge to your right, and if you go ahead and move along that 18-inch ledge, it goes around a little bit, and you can see another tunnel entrance down that direction.
That's the only potential way forward.
Yeah, this chasm is, it looks like 120 feet deep. So getting all the way down to the bottom safely would be a challenge. You could attempt to double back and try to take some of the other passages you haven't taken. You're not sure where those will lead, and it may take you longer to get to your ultimate destination if you do. But yeah, you guys would have to flatten up against the wall and shimmy along this ledge to get through the tunnel off to the right.
Sorry to interject, but I can't seem to add this short sword.
Oh, I will assist. Let me see here.
Thanks.
Whose inventory is it in?
It's in mine.
That's strange. Okay, inventory.
You don't want it though, do you? Because I don't really care.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay.
Inventory. All set.
Thank you, good sir.
You're welcome. Wait a minute. It's not in your actions. But I equipped it. Okay. Hang tight for a second.
Huh.
Shit, I should not have closed that, but I think I can still work with this. And then I delete this from here. Come on. And then I grab this, grab this from here. And then I equip it and identify. And then I go there. Yep, it worked.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And now you have a +10 to hit. So, close that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Right. Back to the issue at hand. Are you guys going to double back and attempt to find another way and hopefully circumvent this entire chasm? Or will you attempt to go along the narrow ledge?
I'm okay with the ledge, and whoever has the worst ability to make it along the ledge, I can cast Spider Climb.
That's an option.
What exactly does spider climb do?
Prevents you from dying in this specific case. You can climb across ledges and have a climb speed, so you cannot fall. Unfortunately, I am limited to one at a time.
Because of concentration, which also sort of just means that you would essentially just have to make sure that each person goes one at a time, and then you would still be able to, have that
Oh,
one
right, and I
person.
have enough second and third level spell slots in there. How many of us? 6?
Actually, there's still. Let me pull up the combat tracker. There's still Ron.
We have a whole pile of Myconids with us too.
No, the Myconids went separately.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we could
It's just Rot and
them across.
Fargus. So that's an option. You might not have enough spell slots for every single person that wants to cross, but anyone that does try to cross, it will be a DC 10 dexterity check.
Dexterity, or could we use acrobatics?
It has to be dexterity.
And that includes the minuses for armor, I would assume.
Yes.
All right, so which ones of you can actually make that? I know I can, because I got like a plus 4.
Well, one of the other things that I would here, let me say that everybody just quickly make a wisdom roll.
Sorry, make a which roll?
Wisdom.
Just straight up wisdom. Well, he is the sorcerer. Tristan and Melroth kind of come up upon the same idea around the same time. You could always tie yourselves together. You have plenty of rope. And doing so would allow you to collectively work to prevent anybody from falling off and give yourselves, some leeway if somebody's ledge gives out underneath them.
It's true, we do have a lot of rope.
In game terms, you would gain advantage. Everyone would gain advantage on making the roll. Now, if you have disadvantage on like dex checks because of heavy armor, then you don't have disadvantage.
What if we cast Spider Climb on one person and then tied everyone together? I guess the one person couldn't carry the entire team if they fell, right?
Yes.
Well, it depends on your strength scores.
Mine's 10.
Not you.
None of us
Not
are
you.
ridiculous
Sit
enough
down.
to do that.
Except maybe Ront.
If
Does Melrath have a minus thanks to his armor?
Good
What are you
question.
trying to say, Milrath? We're all light and...
'Cause I'm thinking,
I don't.
No,
You don't,
he has
really?
medium armor.
oh, okay.
He's only wearing a chain shirt, I think.
Oh, for some reason I
No,
thought
no,
he
no.
had gone to plate.
I am mistaken. It's not a chain shirt. It's something else.
Yeah, I have
Because
the
I
chain shirt.
can't sort by worn or carried,
Mm-hmm.
so it makes it a little difficult for me to see exactly what it is. Shield, short sword, splint. That's probably heavy. Yeah, that's heavy.
So that's a minus.
Yeah. Wait a minute. No, it's not. So here's how this goes. When it comes to dex stuff, you stealth at a disadvantage. That's what you're thinking of.
Oh, okay. That's what
It doesn't apply to all dex rolls. It's just stealth at a disadvantage. So actually, even wearing heavy armor, every single person in the party just tied together has advantage.
Wow. That seems kind of broke.
Are you gonna look a gift horse in the mouth when it comes to safely making it across a 120-foot chasm?
So who has the lowest dex of any of us then? I mean, my characters are +2.
Now, also, when you guys are looking at dex, what you should do is consider your dex score and the saves to the right.
Okay.
Because some people may have dex. Some people may have dex bonuses thanks to class.
Mm-hmm. Tazarath, are you a 0?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it would be you.
So there's a +2 under the ability and then a +2 under save. Would that be +4 total?
No, the save is the final number. But like if you have a 10 for strength. But if you had a 10 for strength and your class gave you proficiency, the gold star, then the strength save would be higher. Do you see what I mean?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was concerned about.
So mine is just
Your bonuses aren't.
17.
Yeah. Yeah. Your total bonus is +2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17.
So Tazroth has 10, and actually I can look this up myself. Dex 15, 14, 13, 14, 10, 18. Okay, so Tazroth is definitely the lowest, with the next lowest being Eric at 13.
Okay.
Oh, and Tazroth, let me also. I think when you leveled, it undid. There we go.
Okay. I took care of that manually, but okay.
Well, the confusion on my part is on the party sheet. It shows your hit points and hit dice as not being topped off.
You leveled up, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I
Okay.
thought. So I gave him a long rest, but it still didn't actually change the values on here. So that's fine. I don't care. Moving on. So Tazroth has the lowest. Does anybody else want to get a spider climb rather than risk it? I would use vote, but we can't see who voted what.
I think Fixer Upper should, just as a party decision.
Yeah,
That
if the
is-
healer vanishes into the chasm, that would be bad.
That is quite sensible.
I don't care about Snake though. He can die for all I care.
Anybody else? Okay. Are you comfortable spending those 2 spell slots, Tristan?
2 spell slots.
Yes.
It's concentration. Would I be able to do that?
Well, what will happen is one person will get spider climb. They'll simply walk across the chasm by using the wall. They'll get to the other side. When they're safely on the platform over there, you cease concentration and cast it on the next person.
Yep, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Also, is it a ritual spell?
I wish.
So,
It's not.
yeah.
Well, it was worth asking.
And actually, now
really
that you bring
was.
it up, I'm a teeny bit surprised that it's not a ritual spell.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways,
And I had such a creative idea for Tensor's floating disk, but they specifically say it doesn't do well in changes of elevation.
so okay, so we're gonna just say that Tazarath and the Fixer Upper, you guys get the spell cast on you. You literally walk on the wall. You make it to the other side of the platform and you hang tight. Now everybody is still tied together. Even the people who are standing steadily on the other side are still tied to everybody else. Okay.
Okay.
So what I need everybody else who is still walking across the ledge to do, go to your character sheet, grab the dexterity save, drop it in the chat.
With advantage?
Yes, with advantage.
Okay. Woo. 250. Oh, Malrath.
Nope, just give me a second. Let's see the rest of them first.
Oh yeah, you're gonna save him.
Okay, so here's.
I'm replacing that 6 with a 14.
Oh, thank you. You've saved a lot of.
You saved a lot of work for the DM.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even though I literally chose this as like our thing. So, here's functionally what happens. Everybody's moving across the ledge. Snake goes first. Despite his bulky form, he's able to hug it and still able to
Slithers
locomote
along,
across. Yeah. Melrath is right behind him, and Melrath Melrath is moving. Tristan foresees that Melrath is about to slip and stops him. Don't put your foot there! And Melrath freezes. And then he kind of shimmies forward and steps over the spot. And then everybody moves along, and you all make it to the other side in one piece.
Busted.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's good. I like it. It's narratively great.
Yeah.
So everybody made it to the other side. Wonderful.
So we don't know. We'll never get to know what would have happened.
There would have been a group strength check to try to save his ass, and if that failed,
Okay, so-
then he would have fallen into the abyss.
Okay.
Had to roll a
So
new
there was
character.
going to be a string. All right.
Yeah,
Thanks.
but he also literally could have died.
If that failed, would that have been a death?
Yes, but that's why I had you guys roll the wisdom check, because you guys weren't quite making the connection with the rope. So,
Right.
anyways, you okay? Okay. The party continues to travel. Now, at this point, there's about 4 days between then and the next occurrence. And the entire time that you've been moving along, ever since you came to that ravine, this entire area is severely crisscrossed with a whole bunch of different um, fissures and whatnot. There's some parts where the ground, the top of the ground is like really, really loose, and you kind of slide down a tunnel for a ways. It's nothing particularly dangerous, but you just have to be paying close attention. Um, and so um, you travel along, and I need to roll a dice real quick. As you're rolling along, Melrath steps on one of these loose pieces of slate, and you have to make a DC 12 dexterity saving throw.
Darn it.
As Melrath puts his foot down, he suddenly feels the ground starting to give out from underneath him. He jumps back as quickly as it starts and manages to avoid a sinkhole that goes 20 feet down into a pit. Everybody else is able to move around the sinkhole, but you almost fell into it. So,
That wouldn't have killed you though, so who cares, right?
I guess.
Well, I know what it's like to fall into sinkholes.
Mhm.
Yeah, even small ones with acids at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, so almost a week later, after the sinkhole, you guys have traveled along. Not an awful lot has happened. There has been some animals that you've evaded, but I pre-rolled some numbers for like encounters to see if I could, move this along or help the narration. And they, oh yes, you also had advantage, so your numbers are 18 and 8, right?
Yep, I just rolled at advantage to.
Get both numbers.
Yep.
Yep, that makes sense. So, I rolled all these different numbers for encounters, and a lot of them were creature encounters, but there were also creature encounters where it was like you came across cave bats and killed them because they're level 0.5. And so I kept rolling on the encounter chart all these monsters that were lower levels. So you guys have slain a pack of kobolds, cave bat, um, hook horror hatchlings, and a not alpha grell. The alpha grell was what you fought back in the whatchamacallit, Myconid Grove. The one that ambushed you guys, was up on the cliff striking down at you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was a nasty piece of work.
Did we get any loot?
Well, that's the other thing. They just have really shitty loot. So there wasn't anything really worth bringing up. So after a week,
Portent roll changed it.
after a week of sort of fighting your way through bits and pieces of the Underdark, no real challenge for you at this point. You all are feeling really good about the progress that you've made and your ability to survive, because a lot of those creatures would have been challenging earlier in your travels. And then you come to another cliff. Now, the cliff overlooks a gorge, and the gorge is 300 feet across. Now, the sides of the gorge are sloped, but not particularly sharply. It would be like walking down a semi-steep hill. So there, you kind of have to watch where you're putting your feet, but gravity does a lot of the work getting you down. Going back up the other side is just walking up a moderately steep hill, but it's not so bad. Now, you can see on the other side that there is a couple different passages out of here. To either end of the gorge, you don't see any particular passages, and there's only the one passage into this room that you just came through. So as you're sort of like looking to see what you can see, down at the bottom there is some sort of wreckage. It's a little difficult to tell what it is because it's about 200 feet away from you, but there's a whole bunch of stuff sort of clustered down at the lowest point of this particular gorge. So, are you guys going to investigate? Are you going to avoid it? Do you have any other particular plan?
I'll be
In the
right
back.
back. I just needed to do something real fast. but
Sure.
Keep going without me.
The only plan that keeps coming to mind, because you keep saying gorge, I keep thinking of trying to jump this on a.
That's not an option.
I know.
Definitely. Yeah. This is not Springfield Gorge.
Could we send the bat ahead to scout just to give us more information, or?
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I know Will would think of it if he was here. So, you got, well, actually, he can only go for 100 feet, I think it is. Let me double check his familiar real quick. Because I haven't had to deal with them much in my other game, and I don't remember much about them. Let's see here. Your familiar has to be within 100 feet of you. So, you guys can very clearly see, especially with Bat's help, like 100 feet away from you, there isn't anything around that seems particularly alarming, unless it's hiding amongst the rocks. So I think it's okay for. I'm semi-tempted to wait just rather than volunteer him, but regardless, to move this along, I'm going to have Will move 100 feet forward, and then he's going to send Bat off to investigate. So actually, I can move some of that distance because of Bat's vision radius.
Mhm.
Okay, so he moves a distance. It works. You can investigate. It turns out that at the bottom of the gorge, there are a number of humanoid corpses. There are also corpses of several creatures called Roth, Rothee. These creatures they're like bulls, but 3/4 the size and 1.5 times the musculature. They are covered in deep, shaggy fur. They have tusks out on their lower jaw on either side, kind of like pigs, or boar, I should say. And then they, rather than hooves, they have big, sort of heavy, plodding feet, like an elephant. They're commonly used throughout the entire Underdark as beasts of burden, and as a result, you know, they're just kind of down there, and it's whatever. So in the caravan's wreckage, there's a whole bunch of things. It looks like they came tumbling down the side of the hill. Some of the caravans have crushed some of the humanoids. Some of them have crushed some of the Roth. It seems that this has happened quite a bit ago, based on the rate of decay. And by quite a bit ago, I mean probably 2 months ago. So these bodies are pretty badly decayed at this point. Some of them look like they've been chewed on by other Underdark species that may have come across this cavern. Some of them have large teeth holes in them, conical teeth holes. And there are a number of food crates that were in here that have cracked open. The food is spoiled. There are a number of ingots of various metals. None of them seem particularly valuable. It's like bronze, copper, iron, things like that, fairly common metals. And it's dry here, so none of those have rusted. And then most notably, amongst all this other wreckage, there are 7 chests made of iron for the fittings and zirkwood for the place where wood would go, down at the bottom. And so there's the potential for a fair bit of loot because none of those chests are open. This is obviously a trade caravan, and whatever's in those chests might be valuable.
Oh, I'm having flashbacks to last time.
Can Bat give us any greater detail on the number of corpses, both humanoid and boar type?
Yeah. So, give me just a second. I'm looking at some information here. There are 12 humanoids.
Okay.
Of the humanoids, based mostly on height and like density, because like dwarves are short and dense, elves are tall and thin, that sort of thing. It looks like this caravan was either led by or staffed by at least 7 gray dwarves. There were 4 drow with them. The drow that were with them happened to be chained together, so they may have been slaves. One of the drow was crushed underneath the cart.
Ouch.
The other drow are still chained to that drow because they were unable to get him free, and they have all starved to death on the chain line.
Ugh, lovely.
As for the Roth creatures, there are 8 of those. It appears, and this isn't surprising, like you guys have seen Roth, even if I haven't talked about them very much, especially because you came in and out of Gracklestug. Roth are a little bit like horses in that they're kind of skittish, and given a lot of the horrors of the Underdark, you kind of can't blame them for that. It's really a survival instinct. And so, given how strong they are, a lot of the bindings that usually keep Roth in place are not made to be especially strong to begin with, because if a Roth busts free and starts, racing off in some direction, you really don't want to be attached to it. So, as this caravan tumbled down the side or whatever happened to it, the Roth kind of went in all directions, and there may have been more, because there's a lot of like messy tracks and whatnot on the other side of the gorge, leading back up to the exits out of this cavern. But you can't see any other signs of them at present.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Any other questions?
I'm back.
Hi. So what you have found is that at the bottom of this, well, let me back up a little further. At the bottom of this gorge, there was some sort of caravan or something, and the party volunteered you to walk forward a good, 60 feet and use Bat to sort of scout it at a distance. And so Bat has looked around. There's a caravan down there. There's a whole bunch of dead Underdark humanoids. They appear to have been dead probably, I think I said, for 2 months. Yeah. And there are also several creatures called Roth, which are beasts of burden in the Underdark. They are also dead down there. But there were some crates that carried food. There were some crates that carried ingots, nothing particularly valuable, iron, bronze, copper. And then, most noteworthy, there are 7 iron chests down at the bottom. They are all unopened, and nothing seems to have really disturbed them. They're in various states of disarray rather than being, like neatly arranged at the bottom or something. You know what I mean? So, will you investigate or give it a wide berth?
I mean, the worst they could be is mimics.
Is what?
And it mimics, and they just attack
Oh.
Serlin, so whatever.
Yeah, they just try to eat me again.
I say go for it.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I don't know why I didn't do this. Give me just a second. Check mark to investigate, X
Check
mark to
mark.
move on. Yeah, okay,
I mean,
cool.
yeah.
I didn't have to worry about it. So I'm going to
No.
go like that. And then That'll be fine, I suppose. So everybody moves down to where the caravan is. I've marked out this sort of 65-foot space. And what is your plan of investigation?
I would imagine it would involve a lot
You cut out. You said a lot and then nothing.
of mage. Did that go through?
A
Sort
lot
of.
of mage hand.
That.
Okay.
I'm
So
down.
using Mage Hand from a distance,
BRB.
you rattle at the lid of the chests. All of them are either stuck or locked, or some combination of the two. None of them pop open.
Well, I guess Fixer Upper can cast Detect Traps on the chests.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Um,
Second level spell slot. I'm checking the range.
I think it's 30 feet.
120 feet, actually.
Woo! Okay. You're able to
Nice.
give the chests a wide berth while still keeping them within range. And actually, for good measure, you just do a quick find traps on the entire caravan just in case
Mhm.
there's anything else in there of note. If it's trapped, it's probably valuable. So you get into position, dreams of grandeur as you cast your spell, and you end up casting the spell, and it spreads out. It checks everything. You don't sense any traps.
That doesn't also detect magic, though, does it?
No, it only detects the presence of traps.
Hmm.
Well, I can cast that too. That's a level 1 spell. And my range is, well, it's concentration, 30 feet, 10 minutes. Okay. So I'll get in a little closer for this, obviously.
Okay.
And then I'll try that. From the front part of the caravan, just to check that, and then, anything else further back. Because how big in total is it?
The caravan was a pretty considerable size, mostly because it just ended up spreading out.
Mhm.
Now, the only thing that I have to sort of warn you about is like here's the state of affairs. Like you are able to hold detect magic for a bit, so you can actually kind of walk around with it. Now, anything that is about like an inch thick of wood is enough to
Mm.
block detect magic. So you basically sort of have to have line of sight on all the different areas that you want to check. Now, with these caravans, a lot of them were kind of like busted wide open. Some of them were utterly destroyed. So it's not too hard to get a decent look inside of them. And that's kind of your litmus test for doing the search. So you are. You're going to go around and you're going to do a thorough job of searching everything. So you cool with that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure when it comes to detect magic, 30 feet, concentration up to 10 minutes. It'll take you like 6 minutes to check the entire caravan. You end up moving fairly quickly because if there is magic, it's going to stand out very clearly to you.
Okay.
So as you're moving through, you manage to check most of the caravan, and there isn't too much to see within the caravan. Like all of the goods that they have are really common consumer or food goods. But as you are investigating, one of the chests that has fallen over onto its side, the one of the corners has busted open. The iron fitting came off. The wood was broken as part of the fall. There's something magical inside, but you can't really see it, and you certainly can't get more than 2 fingers inside of it if you were to try to insert fingers, which I'm going to assume you won't.
No.
So at least one of the chests may have something magical inside of it, but you're not sure what it is. And there you go.
Okay. I definitely can't figure out which school or anything like that.
Actually, you might be able to. Give me just a second.
Okay.
Library classes, wizard. Arcane Tradition. This is what I wanted. Yo. Huh? Oh, here they are. There is something enchantment related inside of it, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be, because I don't know the spell school super
Guess
well.
that makes sense. Okay.
But there's potentially something enchanted inside of it. Now, also, as you're walking through, that particular chest is in the middle of all the other chests. Like I said, you tried to give everything a moderate berth while still doing a thorough investigation because you just have to look.
So the other chest came up blank in terms of magic.
Well, no. The chests on the outside are not magical. They may contain magical items. Remember that 1 foot of wood is enough to block.
Right. Okay.
Right.
True.
Open it. Open it.
Would I have time? You said 6 minutes. Would I have time to? We know they're not trapped. Open the other chests. Or try to open because they're locked. I guess. I guess I would have to make a strength check, or
You could try to use a strength check to force it open.
okay.
That's certainly possible.
All right.
Now, you're just going to open all the other chests first?
Or you're asking about the one that we have limited information on.
There's one that you know contains something magical. The other chests, you're uncertain of their content. So the question is, are you going for the magical chest, or are you going for one of the other chests that may not have magic in it?
Yeah, I'll start with those, I guess.
Okay.
Is there any like wisdom check or anything that like I don't know. Is there any observation that might be gleaned from comparing the chests in terms of what looks more valuable, what looks I don't know, the size type thing?
Well, these chests are actually all identical, which
all right, that tells me that then.
Yeah, they're all identical. Okay, so you do you want to use either of your weapons to try to force it open?
Yeah, I guess the Warhammer would be good for that.
Yeah. Why don't you give yourself a +2 and do a strength check for me, and I'll tell you if you're able to pop it open.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Hold on a second. Okay. So your failed strength check, instead of leaving you unable to pry it open, actually results in you kind of destroying the chest. Like you're just trying to get the lid open, and then the whole thing kind of just falls apart on you. When it does, a whole bunch of fabrics, beads, other things fall out of the chest. Now, none of that is particularly valuable. It's basically the equivalent of consumer goods, but that is what's inside of this particular chest. So there are 6 chests left to go.
Okay. I'll keep going then.
Okay. Roll me another strength check.
+2.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm not rolling well.
Okay. Where is it? Sorry. As you use your hand and some of your weapon to try to pry this thing open, you fail to do so, but suddenly find your hand stuck to it. And then the lid very slowly opens by itself. And teeth are revealed.
Lovely.
So, I've now placed the fixer-upper next to the chest in question. I'm going to plop everybody else down here. You have to place yourself within this 65-foot range, but you can place yourself just about anywhere within the 65-foot range. I'm going to assume that none of you will be within 5 feet of these other chests, but feel free to prove me wrong.
What is the deal with mimics in this campaign? Jeez.
Let me see here. Do I have everybody? think I'm missing
No.
someone. Tazarath, that's who I'm missing.
You're
Yeah.
missing me too.
Am I?
Where's Blob?
Bob is here. Okay. Everybody roll initiative for me. And actually, yeah, that'll be fine.
Terrible Tazarath in it again.
Also, you're gonna Fixer Upper has started this particular battle grappled. It's gonna take an escape attempt of DC 13, and you'll also be making it with disadvantage.
Shouldn't Ront be healed?
Oh, he should. Give me a second. 0. There we go. Okay.
What's an escape attempt? Is that a strength check?
It is. Hold on just a second. Weird. Okay. So, yes, it will be a strength check. However, it says here, ability checks made to escape this grapple have disadvantage, which you would know before making the attempt. Now, even though you're grappled, you can still roll a normal attack roll against it. It's just means that you won't be able to get away.
Okay.
And considering your location within the swarm, these other chests come to life, and they all look quite hungry, and they have a long purple tongue, and they have their sights set on your butt. So, we're going to start.
It's a nice spot. What can I say? Yeah.
I mean,
But
you've
it's not
done a lot of
American,
you've done a lot of walking. So yeah, it's real nice. So anyways, at this point, the mimic that you're adhered to is the first to act in this particular combat. So we're gonna stick this
Makes
back up
sense.
to him, and then I'm gonna reset the round counter. There we go. So first thing he's going to do. All right, you're already adhered to him, so he's going to use this. He tries to bite at you. Fortunately for you, you're pretty well armored. So despite being somewhat stuck to the creature, he is unable to make it through combat. So he's unable to make it through your armor, is what I meant to say. Nom 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 nom. He chews on your arm. Next up, Tristan.
You're very lucky I don't have Fireball.
or perhaps not.
Snake does though. I can kill a character of my own, so I can make another one.
So I'm going to. No, I don't want to be within 5 feet of the little suckers. So, question: if I cast Lightning Bolt to something that's grappled to another something, will it hit both of them or only one of them?
It will only hit your target.
All right. So first, Tristan's going to move.
Oh, one last thing before you get yourself situated. I just want to let me try this. How do I do this? Tristan, and this is 4. I just want to make you aware of something that I think kind of matters. So if you mouse over your character on the map, you now see how he's targeting that particular mimic, right?
Yes.
Okay. When you cast Lightning Bolt in this version, you cast it essentially in a direct line through one of these 8 squares around you. So in this particular case, that mimic is sort of one square above where you would be able to reach from this angle if you were trying to hit it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, so it has to be a straight line following, like.
Following
One
the
of the-
corners.
One of the
If
8
you're
cardinal directions.
Yes. And I bring this up because in some of the previous editions, what ended up happening, and I guess they got upset about it, was people would sort of finagle lines a little bit where it's awkward. So anyways, it has to go in that exact thing. So keep that in mind when positioning yourself. If you need to move anywhere else, that's totally fine. But I just wanted you to know, since I think this is the first time you've cast Lightning Bolt.
Correct. So
Okay.
then I'm actually going to move one more over,
Okay.
and I'm going to target Mimic 3.
Mimic 3. Okay, good. That's a save. So give me just a second. Clear target and target. Go ahead.
Sorry, 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those are terrible rolls. Wow.
Oops. Unfortunate. Both the mimics save, but they still take half.
No, they don't save.
No, they failed really
Oh, they
badly.
failed. I'm so sorry. I got it backwards. There's about to be some crispy mimics here. Ooh. That did a lot of damage. The mimics take a substantial blast of lightning right to the face. That's dead average, but still, substantial blast directly to the face. Unfortunately, that makes it no easier to free himself. But the fixer upper does manage to like pull back from the blast of lightning that goes directly in front of him. Both the mimics are scorched. They have little arcs of electricity moving across them, but they're still standing. Fixer upper, you're up.
What do I roll to gain information on them?
For these guys, it would be Arcana.
I mean, I would imagine we already know about mimics since it
Yeah,
munched
I
on a
don't know if
party
we
member.
did though, but whatever.
I don't think you guys actually rolled against that particular one.
Fair enough.
So I'm gonna go with that. Mimics are shapeshifters. They have damage immunity to acid. They are particularly stealthy. They can't be knocked prone. They have the ability to polymorph into objects, even if the object is smaller than its actual physical size. Acid. There are some properties that it has as an object, such as things that touch it adhere to it. And they also, while it remains motionless, it is indistinguishable from an ordinary object it is mimicking. It has advantage rolls against any creature grappled to it. And it has the tongue-like appendage that it has, and I think I actually have a picture I can share. Yeah, I do. That tongue-like appendage that it has is actually a pseudopod, and the pseudopod is capable of, if it hits, causing you to become adhered to the mimic, at which point it gets advantage to try to chew through you. And then beyond that, it has a bite attack, as indicated by all those big conical teeth. So
no weaknesses for damage types, though.
No.
Okay.
What would happen if we use the filter of love on it?
That is up to Melrath. Although I would point out, as a shapeshifter, it has no gender.
I mean, does anything in this game?
Yes.
All right, so I'll attack number 2.
Okay.
So I should just roll on its head?
Yep.
Okay.
You hit.
Oh.
Ooh. While it wasn't an awful lot of damage, thanks to your impressive +7, you actually have managed to knock the creature into the bloodied values.
All right.
Okay. Next
Ront,
up
help me.
Is Ront. Now, Ront has a special ability.
And what does he
5,
say
10,
while he's
15,
doing it?
20.
Yes, master.
No, I have to think about this. That box may bite, but I bite back. There you go. Oh shit! Oh shit! Motherfucker! Oh God! Actually, he only did 2 more points than you, but still.
His crit was 2 points better than my 1 roll. That's encouraging.
Yeah, he might be falling off in effectiveness.
Yeah, and
so
real power here. Yeah.
So he uses his trait aggressive, which lets him make a movement. His entire move is his bonus action. Charges across the battlefield. Great axe wielded. Attempts to hack the creature to pieces, and he hits a critical spot. And the creature's tongue flails wildly, but he doesn't manage to actually kill it and free you. But he's also out of ability. So Bob, you're up.
Did we figure out if these things are immune to mental damage?
I've given you all of their immunities.
It's just
Okay.
acid.
Just acid. All right. Failure. Bam. Take
Nicely
that.
done.
Wow, they have a lot of hit points.
Fair bit,
They
yeah.
do. Damn.
But they've been easy to hit so far, so that's at least a plus.
Mhm.
So, anyways, you what was the Mind Spike, right?
Mhm.
Your Mind Spike does seem to be quite effective, despite being shapeshifters. They still have. Actually, how intelligent are they? They're like gray parrot intelligent. Yeah. Smart for an animal, nothing compared to any of you, especially Tristan. And anyway, so you lance out with the Mind Strike. It streaks across the battlefield and impacts the creature. As it does so, the shapeshifting ability briefly spasms, and it becomes a multitude of different objects before it manages to sort of shake itself and return to its prior form of a chest with teeth. Fargus is up. Fargus wants to take advantage of sneak attack. He fires his crossbow, actually manages to fucking hit something with a really shitty roll, and then hold on a
I'm
second,
impressed.
and then I do this to Fargus, and then I roll this damage. Sneak attack. He hits and does more damage than I think anybody else so far, but had a whole bunch of extra dice to roll.
He wasted that roll. Yeah.
Yeah, sadly. But he has unlimited sneak attack, so the mimic goes down. And Fixer Upper is freed.
Yay.
Snake, you're up.
I will. Firebolt number 3, I think, because he's already been damaged. So I'll just drop that on number 3. Nice.
You hit? Okay. All right. You manage to fire off your firebolt, dealing only slightly more damage than your other character, and the creature is hit and knocked into its bloodied values. Next up is Mimic number 4. Oh, I see. It hops across the battlefield to here, and then it lashes out with its pseudopod. And fortunately,
What?
thanks to your shield, you're able to deflect it. Can you see what its like calculation was, or just the final number?
Just the final number.
Yeah, it came real close to catching you with that. That pseudopod is fast. Next up is Mimic 1. That's the one. Mimic 1 moves into position, also attempts to surround you and fires off its pseudopod, which is not nearly fast enough. You deflect yet another sticky tongue. This one moves over to here and
No, Ront! No!
fires his tongue off at Ront and
Oh,
misses somehow. Next up is Melrath, followed by Tazarath.
I'm going to move the here, but in the L shape,
Okay.
and I'm going to hit number 5.
Okay.
Number 5 is alive.
Not for long. Okay.
Plus 10.
Woof. So yeah, you do substantial damage. In fact, you do only a single point more than a lightning bolt. And so the mimic takes 2 blows of radiant damage. It doesn't seem particularly damaged by extra damage by it, but it takes them. It reacts. It recoils. It hisses at you. Tazarath, you're up.
Okay. Going to move up here.
Mm-hmm.
Going to attack one. Well, I'm going to double attack the thing. But the first attack will involve a... That's
Smite.
number...
Actually, no. You roll a 9. Oh wait, no, I already used my 19 for the day.
You have a 6. That's slightly more.
Oh wait, no, I don't. I didn't use my 19. I've got a 19 and an 8. Yes, enjoy your 19.
Oh yeah,
Yay.
because yeah. Okay, so that's a hit, and roll your other attack.
Okay.
There you go.
Yay.
Before you continue, actually, you can still go ahead and roll your dice. I just wanted to throw out there. Technically, in the rules of D&D, it says that you should roll, attack, then damage, attack, then damage. I think that the rolling of the attack is the most exciting part. So I just, if you have multiple attacks, I stack them all together so we can kind of see how it's all going to turn out in the
Agreed. I think that's the better way to go.
end. So anyways, you can roll your damage.
And then 2d8 for smite.
Okay. Do I have to add that extra 8 in there?
Probably.
Okay, so let me go to... Ooh. There we go. All right.
Okay. And second attack did not have smite damage, but there we
Still
go.
Killed it.
Yeah. So the first one, the smite damage, impacts the creature heavily. As it's reeling, the second one comes down and splits it, not quite in half, but mostly in half, which is even worse when you think about it. And the Mimic is dead. Next up is Mimic 5. Mimic 5 sees the squishiest person on the battlefield and immediately lashes out, attempting to grab him, but still misses because of the mage armor, which deflects the fleshy pseudopod. We go back to the top of the round, and Tristan, you're up again.
Tit for tat. Can I target 5 and 4, please?
Yes. Here. And here. Go ahead.
Cool.
2 failures. One of them was an almost decent roll, too. Woo! Yeah, so your lightning bolt tears through both creatures. Mimic number 5 has been bloodied, and Mimic number 4 has not. Fixer Upper, you were up next. I'm sorry, Tristan, you weren't going to move, were you?
No, I'm not provoking an opportunity attack. I'm going to trust my party members to kill this thing. I'm going to regret this heavily.
Fixer Upper, show them what you can do.
I'm no longer grappled, correct?
You are no longer grappled.
Yay. So I'm just gonna I'll double attack number 4, I guess.
Okay, go for it. You hit.
With a 4.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
I just hope you're really excited, because I am, that you rolled a 30. A total
That's
of a
pretty
30.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I rolled a normal one first, right?
Yes. Well, no. You just roll roll first, because the crit's going to go off first, since That was the last roll to be made.
So roll the crit damage first.
You have to. You have no choice at this
Oh,
point.
okay. Okay. How do I do that again?
You just
It's been a while.
grab the damage and drop it directly on the creature. It'll
Oh,
auto
okay. You don't have to do
calculate
anything.
crit. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, that was disappointing.
Yeah, unfortunately.
All right, so I'll roll the other one.
Wow, you just have really unfortunate rolls tonight, but you're still dealing a fair amount of damage. Uh, Even though you do manage to get a crit in there, you stab it into one of the hinges of the mimic's box, and that does indeed seem to be a weak point for it. The creature writhes underneath your slashes, and it gurgles menacingly. Ront is going to move over just 5 feet, and then he's going to swing that great sword. Ooh. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's a hit. For some reason, I thought that was a miss, and then I got confused.
A mitten?
It was a mitten, yes. A mitten to death.
12. Whoa.
I mean, it is a D12. That's actually kind of decent for him. So, anyways,
Nice.
Better fighter than I am.
Mimic 5. Oh, yeah, there he is. Mimic 5 is cleaved by the great axe. Bob, you are up.
Well, Ront kind of ruined my thunder, so I'll just attack the same one twice.
Eldritch Blast. Okay. You actually
Oh,
managed to miss the
damn it.
creature. I mean, it was a
Alright.
really low roll. But not that one.
Ha! Take that.
Your Eldritch Blast tears at the creature, ripping away at some of its, I don't know what to call it,
Wood?
woody flesh?
Yeah.
Revealing
flesh.
sinew underneath in a really sort of eldritch horror fashion. Next up is Fargus. Fargus is going to try to take advantage to finish off Mimic number 4 if he can. Hand crossbow. He actually manages to fucking hit. Good job, dude. There, and then the damage. He manages to
Wow.
take out another one.
Ront and
Sharp
Vargas,
shooting.
MVPs.
He fires into what seems like a random section of it, but that appears to be where the brain is lodged, because the whole thing slumps to pieces. That's another one down. Snake, you are up. There's only one mimic left on the field. Now, it hasn't
Alright.
been damaged at all.
Well, I'll just firebolt it. I'm not wasting spell slots on these things. Um, okay. That's my
Nice.
turn.
Not bad. Not bad. A good start to the damage. Gonna shift over here. He's seen a whole bunch of teeth not work out well on your armor and decides to go for the fleshy Ront. Manages to
No.
roll absolute shit though. Ront glares at the creature, and it kind of quivers in response. Melrath, you're up.
I'm just going to smack it.
A hit. Another hit. Oof. So you rush forward, jumping a short distance, and then you bring your sword down in 2 swift strikes, and the creature is now bloodied. Tazarath, you're up.
I'm going to do the same thing. No smite this time because I don't want to waste it. Great sword.
Are you kidding me?
And well, this was an utter failure of a turn.
Huh. Pat to the top of the round. Tristan, you're up.
Toll the dead.
I have you targeted already. You can just roll in the chat, I believe, with your cast.
Glad I didn't waste any spell slots. Jeez.
Wow. So mimics are known for trying to represent or duplicate other things, and in this case, he's duplicated Tazarath and rolled a 1. Oh, that is pretty substantial damage. The bell tolls, and the entire creature quivers as necrotic energy seeps into its flesh, causing a whole bunch of the wood to turn a grayish, splintered black.
Lovely.
Fixer Upper, you are next.
Uh, Serlin and I are not rolling well today.
No, unfortunately, you are not. But that's damage, which is progress.
We want Ront to get another kill because Fargus and Ront needed 4 kills combined.
You got your
Yes.
wish. And that's it. The last
That's
mimic.
why we keep them around, right?
The
I think
last
that's why
creature
they haven't
falls.
died.
Now, these mimics, they actually, so being chests and being shapeshifters, they can contain actual treasure. Unfortunately for you guys, the treasure comes in the form of chewed on half humanoids. The Underdark creatures from the caravan. And so there's no actual treasure to be found there, but there is that one last chest left, and you're already certain that it contains no
Trap.
right.
All right, Fixer Upper will attempt to open it.
Okay.
Do I
Roll
need to
your.
roll a strength?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, do I get advantage with the hammer?
No.
+2, I mean? No?
No.
So it's just a regular. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, Jesus.
It's not a particularly good lock, and the box has already been banged up fairly well. You pop the lid open.
Okay.
Although, amazingly enough, inside, you don't see anything at all. It appears that the whole chest is empty, but it feels kind of heavy to be empty.
It probably has a false bottom
Something invisible.
or something invisible.
Don't we have detect invisibility somewhere?
I do.
Okay.
Well, are you going to go straight for detective visibility? What is the order in which you're going to try things?
First, gonna check for false bottoms.
Yes. Tristan comes up and examines the inside of the chest, and you sort of rap at it with your knuckle, and sure enough, it is in fact hollow. So
Aha, chest, you are in fact verse, not a bottom.
at that point, you instruct the war priest to just smash the whole thing with his hammer, and doing so wields a special prize. Inside, in the bottom, there is a mace, and I have a picture. So give me a second while I pull this up. Oh, well, I mean, you guys are going to immediately sit down and identify it, right?
Yes.
Then in that case, here you go. It has the title on it, so.
Does anyone want any of my weapons or any of my stuff? Because I'm going to take that.
Okay, so here's what it does. First of all, this mace is magical, obviously. When you hit a fiend, meaning a demon or a devil, or an undead creature with this magic weapon, that creature takes an extra 2d6 radiant damage. If the target has 25 hit points or fewer after taking this damage, it must succeed on a DC 15 wisdom saving throw or be immediately destroyed. On a successful
Oof.
save, the creature instead becomes frightened of you until the end of your next turn. While you hold this weapon, it sheds bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet.
So who's taking it?
I'm.
Are you a cleric?
I'm a paladin.
I think Brett has very clearly claimed this particular weapon, so I've plopped it right into his inventory. Now, the only thing to know about the
Yeah.
Mace of Disruption is that it doesn't actually have a numerical plus on its hits. So, like, if you look at the
So it's very situational anyway. I mean, your weapon's a lot better, certainly.
well, and the other thing is that it's a D6, so like your Drowcraft short
Yeah.
sword for pure damage and hit is better. Um, I know, right,
Yeah, right.
Eric? But nonetheless, it is a weapon against fiends, and that is a plus. So you have your Mace of Disruption. It's on your belt now, which means that it's not lit until it goes into your hands. But while there, your Holy Light powers it, and you cannot turn off that light as long as you're wielding it. So now,
Yeah, if it hunted good things, then I think we'd have to give it to Tazarath. Yeah.
so at this point, everybody in the party is going to get another long rest, and the reason being that you guys travel for another 6 days before
Wow. Well,
the next
that's a
event.
good spread.
Yeah.
I love Portent so fucking much.
Yeah.
Melrath, rest, fixer upper.
So tell me when you all want to crit.
Okay. So now that everybody is rested up, I'm going to close down that map because we don't need that anymore. Okay. So at this point, excuse me for 1 second. Scott needs to ask me a question. I'll be right back.
I think at this point, Fargus has more kills than some of our characters.
It's probably true.
We've just been doing process of elimination to make sure we get the strongest of companions.
Right, exactly. All the dead weight's gone, so we'll keep these two alive. Or die trying to protect them.
We'll make sure we don't fireball them.
Yes, I will not do that. My fingers are crossed, but I said I will not do that.
Okay, I'm back.
Send them to the same afterlife.
Huh? Send who?
Now we were just saying that we were not going to fireball our remaining NPCs
because they're better than some of our characters.
At times.
At times, yeah.
So 6 days later, you're traveling, and you come through a cave, and through a tunnel, and it reaches a cave, and it seems that you've come across a small ruin hidden in the Underdark. The ruin actually seems to be something that once occupied the surface and then seeped into the ground through, I want to say, a sinkhole, and kind of collapsed down here at the bottom. So there's all of these buildings and structures on top of a mound of mud, which is kind of spread out a bit. And the ceiling seems to have like it just seems to be really tall. Like it's gotten filled in somehow through some geological process, but it goes way, way up, like 400 feet or more. And so, let me see. So I'm going to pull up another map. And I just want to do one last thing before I continue with what I was doing. So you guys come through the southern portion of this map. I think I do that. And then pull that like so. There we go. So that southernmost entrance, the one that's kind of revealed, that's where you guys come in. And don't forget, you can use a little golden compass to help you scan around the map. So take a moment to sort of look at it. All of the features that are here are more or less accurate. These things in the center that kind of look like stalagmites, those are supposed to be buildings. It's kind of a shitty map, but it works for our purposes. So take a moment, ask if you have any particular questions, but it appears that there's just a lot of different options to sort of make it out of here. Unless, of course, you want to investigate the ruins.
Yes, please.
Okay. Is anybody opposed?
Nope.
If
Okay.
nothing else, the ruins would make a reasonably defensible position.
Okay.
I'm down.
All right. So as you make your way into the cavern, are you guys going to spread out? Are you going to stick closely together? Are your weapons drawn?
Yes.
I think we should probably stick together because it's not like we're on a super time limit and being separated is a big problem. And I mean, we have our new light mace. We might as well use it to attract anything in here that wants to eat us.
Yeah, we can make them come to us, so we don't have to search for them.
Okay. So you're currently wielding your Mace of Disruption. So you're aware it takes an action to stow a weapon and pull out a new one, just
Okay.
in case that makes you not want to do it if someone wants to cast Light instead. But regardless, so you start to investigate the ruins, and a lot of these walls are kind of like leaning Tower of Pisa level of angular because they've slumped through, and through some happenstance of physics happen to still be standing. Um, the roofs of those structures are actually mostly hanging on, and you can see that at some point this was the remains of a gnome village. They had, simple stone cottages and whatnot, but they seem to do a pretty damn good job of constructing whatever they had. Now, you assume that it's gnomes because you find some minor artifice trinkets, and also there are a couple of um, dolls that are made to represent gnomes and their various features. So, as you are um, investigating, um, you find among all of this a corpse of a deep gnome, and the deep gnome is in really bad shape. I mean, obviously it's a corpse, but um, it has a series of like veins around its mouth that are still bright red, while the rest of it is very much drained of color. It has a look of twisted horror on its face. Um, it appears to have been here probably for quite some time. It has an almost, you know, uh, when a corpse has been around for a long time, it's kind of dried out, that sort of desiccated look.
Mhm.
And it is still in clothing, which actually appears to be relatively new. I guess it's been well preserved. Um, and it has a courier satchel at its side.
So wait, what did you say about the red?
It has these red veins around its mouth that appear to be something related to its death. They streak from the lips down to the back of the jaw and spread out in all directions. Some of them go up into the eyes, some of them go, over the cheekbones and back, but they go as far back as there. And when I say that they're like thick and red, I mean that they're probably half an inch across each.
So I say we should roll Arcana and Nature and figure what this is before we get any closer to the thing that could potentially shoot at tendrils at us.
Okay. Everybody can make some rolls. Let me move my map here for a second.
Okay, that's Arcana.
Hmm. Or nature. Actually, I think there's a medicine check as well.
Medicine?
Let me check my skills here. Yeah, medicine check is also very, very appropriate. What the fuck, Eric?
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I guess I don't really need to roll.
Okay, so between Bob and Melrath, um, let's see here. I gotta find some information here. So now, I also want to say, before we go through and I start reading any descriptions, every person here is aware that in order to investigate a corpse like this, you actually have to walk directly up to it and like be inches from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's normally how you do it.
Any
Unless
problems
we
with that?
could we
I
mage
have
hand
a
it?
I have a familiar who I can use through my eyes. Thank
But
you
you
very much.
didn't roll well enough to actually make that a factor here.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So
Can we mage hand it?
what are you gonna learn through Mage Hand?
Just pick up its clothes or look at it and bring it
that-
back
Slap it,
to us.
you know.
In
Yeah.
order,
around.
in order
Hey,
to
wake up.
Get
investigate.
that courier.
Wake up.
Now, if you want to use Mage Hand and slap it around and then see if it gets up and tries to attack you, that's valid. But it's not going to help you at all in terms of trying to investigate the creature.
Okay,
Okay.
I tried.
So first of all, when you guys get close, you definitely are certain that this was a deep gnome. However, a couple of things that you've noticed. As Melrath investigates the creature close up, he can see that there's a lot of dried blood. And yeah, I know, right? Dr. Fighter, nonetheless. He's very familiar with creatures falling apart on him. So there's a lot of dried blood. The dried blood seems to have come out through some of the creature's pores. Some of it seems to have come out around the creature's eyes. It's definitely come through its nose. But some of it even was extracted directly from the forehead, like the pores up there. So it has this speckled appearance on it, like almost like there was like a sudden poof of bloody mist on its face. It. I'm looking for more information here. Boop 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 boop. Blah 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 blah. Right, and it also appears that the veins that had turned so red, those particular veins seem to be like the main exit point for all of the blood. And so, with just sort of being able to poke it with a gloved hand, you can kind of tell that this creature has been drained of bodily fluids. And the little bit of red that's left is the concentrated amount of all of the, what is it, a quart or a gallon of blood that's in a person. Um, and something has absolutely sucked this creature dry. And there don't appear to be any points on it aside from, like I said, it seeping through the pores. It's almost like the blood was magnetically drawn out. Now, as for the arcanic nature of this, yeah. So you sort of scan the creature looking for arcane things, and you are certain that something managed to drain this creature in a quote unquote unnatural way, which is something that you already knew. However, in looking around, one of the things that you do notice is that the area seems to have a necrotic tint to the air, kind of an acrid, bloody smell. And in the gloom, it's kind of hard to tell where it's coming from, but it's definitely in the vicinity of this creature. And that's about all you're able to get from it. So, what will you do now?
He has a messenger bag and he has clothes, so I say we rob his corpse.
Fair enough. So, um, as you look through him,
However, honestly, because this screams trap, Tristan, before even doing any of that's just going to cast minute meteors and hold on to it. Tell me if 10 minutes goes.
okay. Give me just a moment. I'm looking for a particular piece of information. I forgot to write down a page number apparently, but I think I know where it's located. Ah, here it is. Doesn't seem to be there. Well, I know the other end of it, so let me check that. Here we go. All right. I couldn't find it 100%, so I'm gonna approximate based on the details that I know. So inside the courier's pack, you find a tightly wrapped bundle. There's also a handwritten note with that as well. It appears that this is a courier. You don't know his name, but he was from Gracklestug. And being from Gracklestug, he had interacted with an individual known as Wurz Salt Baron. Wurz had given him this parcel and instructed him to take it to Kazook Pickshine. He says that upon delivery to Kazook, he will be rewarded for the delivery.
It's a sealed package?
It is a sealed package. It's nothing that you couldn't open.
Detect magic. So that way, if there's something magical inside, we'll know, and otherwise we can potentially deliver it to what's his name for reward.
Right. However, again, detect magic doesn't go through things. You have to be able to see what you're trying to detect. So you're gonna have to open it. That'll still tell you if it's magic once it's open, though.
Wait, it's but what the package is covered by what?
Paper, isn't that enough to block it?
Nope, it can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or.
Oh, okay. I had the wrong dimensions on all of those various objects. Okay. Very well. There is no magic coming from inside.
All right, well then, it's up to the non-kleptos in the group to decide if they want to open it or.
Do I need to take a vote, or do you guys just want to throw somebody out there to open it, or not?
Could we open it with Mage Hand?
Mage Hand is the answer for everything.
You could, however, doing so would cause the packaging to be torn because Mage Hand does not have the dexterity that a normal hand does.
Well, I will try and open it very, very discreetly.
Okay. You find that the parcel is actually very cleverly wrapped in such a way that the folds of paper actually created an almost seamless package. And so that particular, you sort of admire that for a moment. It's almost origami in its nature. When you open it up, on the inside, there are a number of small gems. Now, the gems don't seem particularly remarkable, but they're cut in an odd fashion. You think there might be something to them.
I think this is
Arcana?
Arcana.
Yeah. Anyone who wants to roll Arcana can. Oh, well, it makes sense that you would be one of the people to figure it out. Good. You are inspecting some of them. Fixer Upper and Snake come closer and sort of pluck one out of the package in your hand. These things are shaped very much like large D20. They're about fist-sized. They're not especially heavy as these things go. You're not sure what the mineral is that they're made out of, but as you investigate them, you're thinking about them for a while, and you connect. You remember. There are gemstones like these that are sometimes used for spell gems. And you already know what spell scrolls are, But spell gems are stones that have been enchanted, crystals, with magical energy, and they are more useful than scrolls for some very particular uses. Namely, that when something crunches on a spell gem, it releases the energy inside. So if, for example, you would manage to enchant one of these things with a fireball and you hurled it at your opponent, it would impact that spot, release fireball, and everything would be flame. But conversely, you could also, for example, enchant one of these things with web and then place it in the ground. And when a particular creature walked over it, it would explode and cause them to be trapped inside of a web. So spell gems are actually the specialty of deep gnomes. They are the people that most commonly use these things. They are very adept trap makers, and their artistry at using spell gems is so significant that I think they're the only race that does it. However, if I later read through this and find out I'm mistaken, I reserve the right to be wrong.
Okay.
But like surface gnomes, deep gnomes are artificers by trade.
Those sound incredibly useful.
They would be, but these are empty. They're very, very empty. However, they seem to be mostly prepared. The spell gems that you're all roughly familiar with from having heard about them from other people, they're covered with various runes over the outside, and the runes sort of act as a channeling to help keep the magic inside until something breaks one side of it and then it's released.
Mm-hmm.
So, who would it take to fill one of these, or can they not be refilled?
The only way to activate one is, I believe, to break it.
No, but you said they're empty. How would we fill one with a spell?
Oh, well, you would need to have the surface properly ruined, and then once it was ruined, it would actually naturally be ready to hold the spell. So remember those runes I mentioned? Like as soon as you target one face of this thing with it, the runes channel all of the energy to the inside, and then all of the runes on the face keep the energy pointing inwards. So there's just this sort of perpetual, like it's bouncing around inside of the gem and constantly redirected back inwards.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I say we deliver it for the reward, since you said it's in Grackle Stew.
Well, it was from Gracklestug and it's headed to Blingdenstone.
Ah, yes, Blingdenstone.
And so are we.
What a surprise!
It's like you want us to deliver these.
It crossed my mind.
Uh-huh.
So at this point, give me a moment. You hear some shuffling in the general vicinity.
Haha!
And then I need one more thing.
Because of course we do.
Now, I just need to make sure that I have this right. Yes, okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and bloop, and bloop, and bloop, and bloop. Okay, so I got all those things set, and then I just need to do that, and that. Oops. And that will be fine, I suppose. Should I go like that? Yeah. So you hear some shuffling in the darkness surrounding you. Now you guys are kind of basically in the center. In fact, why don't I go ahead and plop you roughly on the map? You can sort of reposition yourself as long as you're sort of inside of this central stony outcropping. You can overlap the stone here. That's okay. That doesn't truly represent how everything is. So like Fixer Upper could be here, for example. Feel free to reposition yourself once I plop you onto the map, though.
What directions the shuffling come from? Do we have any idea?
Kind of all around you. This cave, as you can see, is a decent size, but there's still a fair bit of echoing. And, you know, the water off to the northeast, I believe that is, that water also, made the sound kind of echo as water drips into that pool. So once everybody's situated, just let me know. And
I'm good in the middle.
Eric, are you all set? Okay.
Yeah.
So from the let me see here. I gotta find. So as I remember it, Fixer Upper, you're the one who is wielding the Mesa Disruption.
Mhm.
Okay. Here. Here. Okay. So here's what happens. From the darkness emerges shuffling forms. Okay. So here, oops, that's not what I wanted. And then, where's the right creature? Here. And the shuffling forms off to the right, they're creatures you've never seen before. And let me pull up a description here, see if I have any juicy tidbits. They look like particularly evil humanoids that have died at some point in the past. Now,
Motherfucker.
the one that is off to the far left, behind the fixer-upper, that one looks very familiar. In fact, it happens to have some plate mail on it, covered with a checkerboard of black and white skulls. Does that ring any bells?
It does. It reminds me of the Mircool cultist that we found.
In fact, it is. Except he looks a bit different from the last time you saw him. The last time you saw him, he was very much bound up in bandages underneath all of that plate mail armor. And now he seems to be a bit more whole. His appearance has changed from the last time you saw him. His face seems to have more flesh to it. His jaw is still kind of hanging off at an odd angle. He has complete eyeballs now, and he looks a bit stronger than the last time you saw him. He gives you a lopsided grin through no fault of his own. And I think you should probably all roll initiative.
I got above it.
No. Oh, no.
Oh no.
Actually, you know what? No. I got a 20 on that initiative. I am not going last. No.
Give me just a second. I gotta adjust you manually.
Should probably get rid of Fixer Upper being grappled too.
Oh, I should do that. Where did Tazarath? Wait, no, not Tazarath. Tristan. Oh, you got a 21. You still went after Snake. Or sorry, 20. Actually, what's your dex?
+4.
+4. Okay, that's what I miscalculated.
Also, someone should watch the corpse of the thing that's beside it.
Okay. Here, I will create a pointer. I'll use this just in case we create any other pointers. Here's the corpse. Okay, that makes sense. So, Tristan, you're up first.
Okay, I'm going to use first my bonus action to lob 2 of the meteors and hit the space between 2 and 1. So it hits both.
Hits both of them. Okay. Give me a second to target everything. Target and target. Go ahead. Okay, so one of them actually managed to succeed, so I'm kind of impressed. Roll your damage.
How do I increase the number of dice and damage?
Why do you need to?
Because I'm rolling 4d6, not 2d6, because I used 2 of them.
Oh,
And
okay.
since one succeeded, I want to make sure it.
So grab the damage off of the spell, and then if you should have 2 dice in your mouse pointer, and if you right click, one right click will add a third, and another one will add a fourth. There you go. Okay, so you fire off your explosive minute meteor. It impacts the area, and there's a brief blast of fire. One creature takes a bit more damage than the other, but neither of them were bloodied from that attack.
Okay, then for my normal action, Scorching Ray on the other person.
Okay. Let me clear that out. You can just drop it right on him.
3 of them, right?
Yep.
That's a miss.
Whoa. Okay. So he has good armor.
Okay, well.
Oof.
Yeah, he has really good armor because that 18 missed. So that's interesting information.
I would also note that he was not this difficult to hit last time.
Right. But you also mentioned the armor that he has. So.
Well, he had the armor last time, but he still wasn't this difficult to hit. The
Oh,
armor
okay.
looks like it's in better condition.
Okay. All right. That's what I was thinking of.
So at this point, watch carefully.
Hey, isn't that neat?
Hey, Chris.
Uh,
A creature that you weren't aware of appears from beside you. You know that pool off to the north? Well, there's some kind of misty area around it due to temperature differentials. And from that mist emerges a kind of blackish grayish cloud, and it moves immediately into your square and through it. And then I just want to make sure I have this right. Into Tristan's square. Oop, I grabbed the wrong
Yeah.
person. Sorry about that. There we go.
From
And now for Tristan, I need you to roll a DC 13 Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
you need me to.
No. Tristan.
Nope.
Okay. Give me just a second.
Uh-oh.
And I'm just fiddling with some information here. So now that you've failed, I'm going to grab these things. Oops. Sorry, I'm fiddling with something. So I special created this particular encounter, and I had to grab a monster from another book. So not everything is laid out for me, so I'm just fiddling with some stuff here. Plus. And here we go. So I drop this here, I think. Nope. Okay, I'm just going to roll it, and we'll see what we get. All right. Okay. Necrotic energy strikes out at you, and the appearance of the cloud changes in such a way that red streaks form across it, and you can feel the blood being drained from your body. And as it does, you take 9 damage, and your hit point maximum is reduced by 9, putting you at bloodied. That, however, is its turn.
I took damage though, so I have concentration, so I have to make a saving throw, correct?
Yes, go for it.
How does concentration work?
You get you roll a d10 for your constitution plus your modifier for constitution. You basically make a con roll, and then if you get, in this case, a 10 or higher, you succeed. So you've succeeded.
Done.
Snake, you're up. Next time, don't use the save though.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So is there any rolls I can make to glean more information on either characters?
So Gleaning more information about Akachi will not reveal any new information. And in fact, I should go ahead and just give me a second. And then this is a K. There we go. Right. So it won't glean any new information. If you want to make rolls about the other creatures, you need to roll religion.
Okay. Ugh. Okay then.
So the mist that attacked Tristan is directly adjacent to you. So beware of using anything that uses an attack roll.
So can I see the mist? Can I attack it? I don't
You
quite
can.
understand.
The issue, however, is just be aware of like area effect spells because it is currently occupying Tristan's square. So if
Okay.
you were to use like he used a Mel's meteor, it
Mhm.
would impact both him and the mist. But if you
All right.
use something like magic missile or firebolt, you can just target the mist without having to worry about hitting Tristan or not.
Okay. Hmm. Um, 40-foot cube. Need to draw something. Can I draw, or is that going to draw over that?
40-foot cube.
Yeah.
You mean the 5-foot cone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I create?
Yeah, you can go ahead and create something.
Okay. All right.
I don't think it'll affect the cone.
40-foot cube. Okay.
Glorious cubes.
That's a big cube.
Yeah, it is a very big cube. Basically, you can kind of fit everybody inside of it.
Yeah, that's what I was
depending-
just trying to gauge. Okay.
What is this cube for?
Slow, I think. Because it is not a. Well, I want to affect everyone negatively. And I can choose up to 6 creatures, so I'll choose 4, right?
Yep.
And then they all have to succeed on a wisdom throw. Or
Okay.
save.
Give me just a second. I'm gonna grab some
Okay.
stats here. How do I do saves with this? I think what I have to do, just making sure there's no other. Okay, there's a size and reach. I don't have to worry about that. Okay. Akachi got a 1.
Nice. I think.
Unidentified creature 1 got a 1. Or sorry, got an 12. So sorry. And then the last one, unidentified creature 2, got a 6. So I think your DC for saves is probably 16.
Yes.
Yes, it is a 16. So all of them fail. So what I want you to do is grab the status effect that you can and drop it on. Use the
It's
combat
actually
tracker.
18. Okay.
It is?
All right. Yeah. Well, the charisma is +8, so. Or +5. Never mind. I'm looking at the wrong thing.
+5, +3. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
so
The spell save is calculated with the base of 8 plus charisma modifier and proficiency. So that's why it's 16.
I see. Okay. All right, so you just want me to drop it on all of them?
Use the combat tracker. Drop the effect on each creature in the combat tracker that's an enemy.
Okay.
Oh, grab the.
The effect. Okay.
Yeah.
I see the effect now. All right. Okay. Effect Melrath. Oh, sorry. He doesn't need bad effects to be bad.
No.
Okay.
Dear diary.
Okay, so it looks like you got all 4 creatures, so we're set to go. Snake, do you want to do anything else? Do you want to try to move or?
Provoke. Does slow? Let's see here.
They have one reaction or one action a turn, but not both.
Right.
But it doesn't say anything about attack of opportunity, does it? So
Attacks
Attack
of
of op-
opportunities are reactions.
Yeah, so if it takes that reaction, it won't get any action on its turn.
okay. So it has to make a decision.
Yes.
All right. Interesting.
Wait, am I missing something? Where's the other creature?
It's underneath
Underneath
Tristan.
I seem to have lost the map, but I was gonna try to move away from it.
Here you go.
Thanks.
Yep. I really need that right now.
I still don't have the map.
I shared it. You should have the map.
I don't.
Okay, try clicking on Images and Maps button.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
all the
looking.
shared stuff, it's map 7.
Okay. Right. Okay. There it is. So I will move. Do the rocks count as difficult?
No, not at all. You can just move through them.
Okay. So I will go here.
Okay. All set?
Yeah.
Okay. Akachi is up next. Akachi moves into position. And let me check it and make sure I know this. Okay. Let me... I don't know. Okay. Don't want to do that. That was not what I had intended. Okay. The creature glares balefully at you, but being a good cleric and being a significantly more powerful cleric, the glare does not affect you. It attempts to punch Ront and succeeds.
No.
So I'm going to hit it with damage.
Oh. Okay.
He did that with his fist, really?
Yeah,
Ugh,
I'm
I hate this
confused.
guy already.
Oh, I see what happened. And we'll also go ahead like so. Oh, okay. And then, so Akachi winds up, lands a solid punch into Ront's gut. He sprays blood out of his mouth and collapses to the ground. The blood that sprays out of his mouth has started to turn to a yellowish mucus-like color on the ground. Ront does not look healthy, and he's in death saving throws. Melrath, you're up.
And I'm going to wail on number.
2, I assume?
Yep.
Okay, you hit.
Now, for damage, are these magical? Because I get an extra 1d. I mean, are they undead? Sorry.
Based on the effectiveness of your attack, they appear to be undead.
So extra 10 damage on top of that.
Okay, I'll just add that in there. Cool. You swing at the creature. Your sword slices through its flesh like a hot knife through butter. The creature is severely damaged. It's gone into bloodied value and probably beyond. It does not look healthy as an undead creature might otherwise look. Right. So, Ront is up next. I'm going to roll for him. He gets a 16, so that's his first positive death saving throw.
Yay.
Identified creature 1 is up. It's going to make a multi-attack.
It can't.
It can't.
Oh, well, it can't.
Because it's slow.
So what does slow say exactly?
Well, it can make one. Can't make more than one melee or ranged attack during its,
Oops,
regardless of abilities or magical items.
that's probably going to. Saving throws.
However, they should be making wisdom saving throws at the end of each round.
Well, at the end of each turn. This is the first one to act, though.
Right.
Okay. Then I rolled for his one attack, which was a miss anyways. And he's going to unfortunately stay put. Tazarath, you are up.
So I've noticed this cloud thing attacking Tristan.
Mhm.
I believe it's time to... If I melee it, does that risk hitting Tristan?
No. Through
Okay.
the magic of Dungeons and Dragons rules.
Can I ask that you move
Okay.
one farther south when you attack it?
Right
Thank you.
there?
Perfect.
So
You can just attack it as normal. I put some of the creature's information into the tracker by modifying a creature that already existed. I just didn't buy this book, so I don't have the exact monster block.
So let's see here. Before I do that, I am going to do a...
That's not
come on.
enough. It's cloudy. It might actually be a meteorological condition, as far as you can tell.
I'm going to chop at the swamp gas. Weather balloon, whatever it happens to be.
Could be a UFO.
Area 51 cover up.
Your first attack misses. Your second attack definitely hits.
Okay. And I'm going to burn a first level spell slot for the sake dealing smite. So 2d6 and 2d8 radiant damage. Dang it.
Okay. Put that in. The creature is now bloodied. Your radiant damage does a significantly better job. Well, both your sword and your follow-up radiant damage cut through the gloom. The mist is now kind of more patchy and dispersed than it had been before. So we're going to call that bloodied because I don't know how else to describe its status. So that's your attack and your move. Fargus is up. He's going to attempt to attack this. He hits. Amazing.
Nice.
Sneak attack. And then damage. Akachi is able to partially resist the damage.
Not magic. Yeah.
Not magic. So, it still takes a pretty... it still takes about 7 points of damage. And next up is unidentified creature number 2. He's going to hope he gets lucky. He does not. Bob, you're up.
Well.
Kill the mist, Bob. I believe in you.
What is the mist again? I'm sorry.
No
what
one
do we
knows
roll
what
for?
the
Thing
mist
that's
is.
killing me. Just attack it.
Religion?
Yeah, religion.
Your religion. No.
Yeah, you also think it might be lake effect fog?
What about the
It's
other
the Loch Ness Monster.
Sorry,
what
what about...
the other creatures?
Well, you know who Akachi is because you faced him already, but the other creatures also remain unidentified. but you only get one identify roll per turn. So.
Well, now you tell me.
Mm-hmm. Oh. You're up next, Fixer Upper.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's try this.
Okay. Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Killed it. Good job.
You summon up all of the dark energy from betwixt the stars that you wield, and you
Why's
fire
it gotta
them
be dark?
because you're a warlock, dude.
I know.
I swear, I'm not bringing race into this. So anyways, you summon up the dark energy from between the stars and you fire it at the mist. And fortunately, once you impact the mist, it burns away incredibly rapidly, and you manage to pull back on your own energy blast to kind of prevent it from impacting Tristan himself.
You're welcome.
The cloud passes like a dark memory. So we remove the creature. And
I was gonna do poison spray on it, but that would have been weird.
it would have indeed. Fixer Upper, you are up. Anything you...
So, yeah, I'm going to double attack, but I also am going to use Guided Strike using one of my 2 channel divinities, so I get +10 on
Okay, so give yourself
Captain,
a +10.
Captain Hard to Hit.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I had the Mace of Disruption out, so I'll continue using that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was damage. Sorry.
Trying to find his hit points. Okay, I think I've reset the damage.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Oh.
so you got a hit.
Yeah. Interesting, because the second roll took off the adjustment, but I still got a hit, so whatever.
Okay. Go ahead. So you deal 7 points of damage, but you also get to roll an additional 2d6, and I'll add that manually.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Okay, damage has been applied. We're at the bottom of the round. I just realized that we are way past time, and I am super sorry about that.
Yeah, I just have one more roll, and I understand.
Yeah. So we're just going to drop it at the end of this after Brett finishes with his roll, and then we'll start at the top of the round for next time.
Okay. And I missed anyway.
Okay. Next. Okay, so we've got that all set. Sorry about that, guys.
Happens.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Let me just click